Welcome to True Crime Tuesday, where the truth is scarier than fiction. Each week, we dive deep into the darkest corners of human nature, exploring real-life crime cases, unsolved mysteries, and infamous killers. From chilling disappearances to horrifying serial crimes, these stories are as disturbing as they are true. So if you think you can handle the horror, stay tuned, because some of these cases are so terrifying, you may not sleep tonight. Did you know that nearly 1 in 3 violent crimes are committed by someone the victim knew and trusted? How well do you really know the people closest to you? For Zoe Nelson, a young woman full of life and dreams, trust was her downfall. What should have been an ordinary day turned into a nightmare, one that ended in betrayal, horror, and an unthinkable crime. Stay with me as we unravel the chilling story of Zoe Nelson's tragic murder and the shocking betrayal that led to it. Zoe Nelson was a 17-year-old girl with her whole life ahead of her, a vibrant, kind-hearted young woman from Scotland who was deeply loved by her family. She had dreams, she had friends, and she had someone she thought she could trust. But trust can be deadly. On May 22nd, 2010, Zoe vanished, and what happened next would leave her loved ones shattered and a community haunted by one of the most chilling betrayals imaginable. This is the tragic story of Zoe Nelson. On a warm May evening in 2010, Zoe Nelson walked out of her family home in North Lanarkshire, Scotland, never to return. The events that followed would expose a tangled web of jealousy, betrayal, and brutal violence, culminating in a crime so heinous it shook the community to its core. Zoe Nelson was a promising student, full of life and ambition. She had dreams of working in motor vehicle repair, breaking into a field traditionally dominated by men. But like many young women her age, she also had a complicated love life, one that involved a man who would become her killer. Tonight, we take a deep dive into the tragic murder of Zoe Nelson. How did a rivalry between two sisters over one man escalate to a level of unimaginable cruelty? And how did a small-town investigation lead to a conviction that still haunts those who remember? Newmains is a quiet town, the kind of place where everyone knows everyone. It was here that Zoe Nelson lived with her mother, stepfather, and siblings. By all accounts, she was a happy, independent young woman, loved by her family and friends. But behind the scenes, trouble was brewing. The man at the centre of all of it was Robert Bain, 20 years old, rough around the edges, and covered in tattoos. Bain had a reputation. He was known to police, and his relationship with Zoe was anything but stable. But here's where things become more complicated. Zoe wasn't the only young woman in her family vying for Bain's attention. Her younger sister, Laura Ann, was also involved with him. The love triangle created tension, one that would soon spiral into something far more sinister. On May 22nd, 2010, Zoe and Bain were seen together. Witnesses later described an argument, though its details remain unclear. What is clear, however, is that sometime after that meeting, Zoe disappeared. The following day, a local farmer made a gruesome discovery. In a wooded area near Cambusnethan, he stumbled upon a charred body, partially covered with a melted plastic sheet. Authorities were called, and it wasn't long before they confirmed the horrifying truth. The remains belonged to Zoe Nelson. Her face had been burned beyond recognition. The forensic examination would later reveal she had been attacked before being set on fire. But who would do such a thing, and why? Police wasted no time launching a full-scale investigation. Interviews were conducted, forensic evidence was gathered, and soon attention turned to one person, Robert Bain. Bain was acting strangely. Witnesses reported erratic behaviour in the days following Zoe's murder. And then there was Laura Ann, Zoe's younger sister. She came forward with a chilling claim. Robert Bain had taken her to see Zoe's body before it was burned. Under immense pressure, Laura Ann recounted a terrifying ordeal. She described how Bain threatened her, warning her to stay silent or face the same fate as her sister. But silence wasn't an option. Her testimony would become a key piece of evidence in the case against Bain. The trial began at the High Court in Edinburgh in early 2011. The prosecution laid out a damning case against Bain, highlighting not only Laura Ann's testimony, but also forensic evidence linking him to the crime scene. Bloodstains, witness sightings, incriminating behaviour. Despite his denials, the jury was unconvinced. After days of deliberation, they returned with a verdict, guilty. Robert Bain was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum term of 20 years before eligibility for parole. Justice had been served, but for Zoe's family, the pain of losing her would never fade. The details of Zoe Nelson's final agony remain shrouded in mystery, and the cause of death is officially unascertained. The case of Zoe Nelson remains one of Scotland's most shocking crimes. A young woman betrayed by those closest to her. A crime fueled by jealousy and possessiveness, and a family left shattered, forced to live with an unthinkable loss. But Zoe's story is not forgotten. Her memory lives on in those who loved her, and her case serves as a warning, a stark reminder of how toxic relationships and unchecked rage can lead to devastating consequences. Thank you for joining me for this episode of True Crime Tuesday Stories. I'll see you next time as we continue to uncover the dark truths hidden in the shadows of everyday life. Good night and stay safe.